The Overwatch, United We Survive, Level 302, False Sublime, Class Omega, Secured Protected Artifacts. Image caption, Level 302 viewed from a cliff top at the level's edge. Description, Level 302 is a large coniferous forest enclosed by a large ring of tall mountains, acting as a defined border for the level. Within this encircled region, Level 302 is largely uniform in elevation, mainly mediating between 2 and 6 meters, 6.5 to 19 feet, on a regular basis. Level 302 is fairly temperate in terms of its temperature, at a uniform temperature of 11 degrees Celsius at all times. However, the volcanism which Level 302 exhibits can cause this temperature to fluctuate from 21 degrees Celsius to 6 degrees Celsius. Image caption, an active geyser nearing the edge of Level 302. 302 heavily mirrors the appearance of various environments from the front rooms, mainly those found in the Hokkaido Prefecture and the Alaska and Yukon territories. This effect is induced through a mental effect, which Level 302 exhibits, which creates false memories in the minds of those who had previously been in a similar environment. Level 302's topography is relatively unspectacular, besides the occasional cave or waterfalls that one can witness in the level, but these features do not usually exhibit a feeling of awe in the viewer. Level 302 is dotted with various lakes entirely composed of distilled water, which trickles into them from small rivers originating in the mountainous regions of Level 302. The lakes are abnormally warm in comparison to the level's air temperature, at a constant 38 degrees Celsius. This is a consequence of the many hydrothermal vents which dot the lakes' nadars. These hydrothermal vents often release their contents sporadically, often bursting explosively into a tall jet of pent-up sulfides and methane into the air, heating the water to an average temperature of 158 degrees Celsius. This event has often attracted wanderers to 302, especially events where multiple vents burst in unison, or sometimes in music-like patterns. A consequence of the influx of tourists in the level is the breach of Level 302's Omega classification, detailing strict protection of knowledge of the level's assets. Entities. Level 302 does not appear to share any common entities with other levels of the Backrooms, aside from the rare appearances of warning kites and light guides. 13 different entity species have been identified in 302 since the level's discovery, each being designated as Protected Entity 1, often shortened to PE1, through Protected Entity 13, PE13. The following details the most notable entities of Level 302. PE1, also known as the Guards, are often observed in lower elevation areas of Level 302's border. PE1 are humanoid quadrupeds with an emaciated figure. The forelimbs of PE1 instances appear to terminate in the form of shield-like structures composed of bone, similar in appearance to riot shields. Fortunately, PE1 instances can be tamed to attack any defined entity. Due to this, 2 PE1 instances have been extracted from Level 302 and stationed in Level 1, Habitable Zone, outside of Meg Base Alpha. PE2, also known as the Phoenixes, are often observed in the skies or the uppermost mountains of 302's border. PE2 are typically described as larger carnivorous variants of Argentavis magnificens. The Phoenixes' feathers appear to have been charred in some capacity, with some parts of their body to be covered in small quantities of igneous rock, such as obsidian or granite. Phoenixes are the most dangerous entities of Level 302. Thus, all nests belonging to PE2 instances are to be either incinerated or contained with whatever means necessary to do so. PE4, also known as the Athenian Ducks, PE4 are the only protected entity to have an official designation on the shared Backrooms database. Redirect to Entity 27, Athenian Ducks. PE7, also known as the Waltz, are typically based on the rims of the various lakes of Level 302. PE7 instances appear similar to headless mannequins, but are capable of anomalous limb movement and cognitive function. Little is known about PE7, as they typically attempt to avoid human contact. However, PE7 have been proven to be central to the hydrothermal displays orchestrated by Level 302. PE10, also known as the Gifters, are commonly found in the center of Level 302. PE10 instances are spheroidal entities, which appear identical to what is commercially referred to as a magic 8-ball. When a PE10 instance is jostled, PE10 will instantly materialize a desired object that the subject wishes for in the moment. After the materialization, the instance will become dormant and release a dim yellow glow for a period varying from 13 hours to 44 days. Discovery and history. Level 302 was discovered on the 17th of February 1991 by a videographer in Level 8, Cave Systems, who had been attempting to produce footage of the kettle of Level 8 for personal use. It is still unknown for what reasoning, as the Wanderer had repeatedly refused to elaborate on his intentions. End footnote. The videographer had followed the flow of water into the hole for 25 minutes, until he had encountered a crossroads in the tunnel. The Wanderer chose to explore the brighter tunnel as to avoid more encounters with Smilers and the arachnids known to infest Level 8. Note: see Entity 39, Organoguns. The videographer finally entered Level 302 at 5:39 p.m. on the 17th of February 1991 and set up a brief campsite near the entrance to wind down and contact the Major Explorer Group and the Backrooms non-aligned trade group to notify them of 302's presence. The Major Explorer Group installed an outpost around the entrance in the areas that the videographer had explored, named Outpost Sublime. After the discovery of PE1, PE2, and PE3, Outpost Sublime was expanded to encompass the entirety of Level 302. Several plots of land were sold for equivalents of 600,000 USD for resources, trade, and tourism to either individuals or entire groups, including the Backrooms Non-Aligned Trade Group and the Backrooms Remodeling Company. In October 2014, Level 302 was a heated region of war between humanity and the Machinerum. Note: see Level 313, Verum Terra Machinis, and partygoers during the Second Machina-Humanity War. This resulted in the halting of all tourism and trade coming from and to Level 302, and full evacuation of all Meg property and non-combatant personnel from the level. By the end of the war, 20 acres of Level 302 were destroyed, and 40 acres were made uninhabitable. In addition to this, PE5 and PE11 were almost driven to total extinction, with a current count of 4 specimens still alive from both entity species after the war. As of July 2022, Level 302 has been reinstated as a nature reserve and tourist attraction. However, 96% of Level 302 has been deemed legally inaccessible by the Major Explorer Group. The barred areas of Level 302 have been designated as Outpost Aerial, as a reference to the Aerial Sea. No other organizations are permitted on Level 302 under any circumstances. Bases, outposts, and communities. Outpost Aerial, previously Outpost Sublime. Outpost Aerial is a highly secretive outpost of the Meg in Level 302, only permitting Overseers A, B, and C, and selected personnel tasked with working on Outpost Aerial. Outpost Aerial is responsible for securing the areas restricted from typical members of the public, and reconstructing Level 302 after the Second Machina Humanity War. Access and egress. Entrances. Level 8. Cave systems. Descend the kettle of Level 8, a narrow hole spanning for 2 kilometers, and take the bright path at the crossroads. Level 40. Roller Rockin' Pizza. Playing on an unnamed arcade cabinet marked with the appearance of an open dirt road with lakes and mountainous terrain will lead to entering Level 302 via no-clip. Level 75. Gallium Caves. Enter one of the tight sub-caves, typically 1 meter wide. Level 165. Lying Bliss / the Garden of Eden. Entering one of the stone sheds has a 1 in 3,000 chance of delivering you nearby the entrance from Level 8, Cave Systems. Level 222, Castellos' Museum. exiting through an automatic exit door, with result an entrance to level 302. Level 466, Firelit Longing. Entering an underwater cave will lead to the geometrical center of the largest lake in level 302. Exits. Level 8, Cave Systems. Ascend the same tunnels to arrive back at the entrance to level 302. Level 93, The Summit. Climbing the outermost mountains of level 302 can lead to one of the summits of level 93. Level 998, A Path Across Hell and Towards Any Beyond. Entering a metal double door, alike to that of an elevator's, will result in entry to level 998.